Have you ever made a choice and then later you look back and think, what was I thinking? Of course you have. We all have. Today, we're going to explore the hidden architecture of our own minds to figure out why we're all, just a little bit irrational.
So, let me just start by asking you a question. When it comes to the big stuff, do you think you make logical, well-thought-out decisions? I mean, really think about it. Are you a perfectly rational being?
Because here's the thing. We all have this expectation that we're meticulously weighing all the pros and cons. But the reality? It's often a lot more like, ooh, that one's shiny. And it's that huge gap between who we think we are and how we actually act that we're going to dive into today.
We really, really cling to this idea of the rational you. It's a super powerful myth, this belief that our choices are the result of careful, conscious, deliberate thought.
Yeah, we love to picture our mind as this incredible supercomputer, right? Just crunching data, running these flawless algorithms, and spitting out the most logical answer every single time. It's a really comforting thought, but it's not the whole story, not by a long shot.
See, the truth is, our mental software has some, well, let's call them glitches. Our brains aren't perfect computers. To save an incredible amount of time and energy, they run on shortcuts. And guess what? Sometimes those shortcuts lead us down some pretty irrational paths.
And here is the absolute key to all of this. These mental shortcuts, they actually have a name. They're called cognitive biases. They're like the hidden architects of so many of our choices, working away quietly in the background, helping us make sense of the world fast, but not always accurately.
So come on, let's meet a few of these hidden forces. We're going to pull back the curtain and shine a spotlight on 3 of the most powerful cognitive biases that are influencing you and me every single day.
First up, we've got the anchoring bias. This is our tendency to get latched onto, or, well, anchored to the very first piece of information we get. Everything that comes after is judged against that first number, that first impression. Just think about buying a car. You walk onto the lot, the salesperson shows you the sticker price, and bam! Instantly that number becomes the anchor for the entire conversation. Even if it's a completely ridiculous price, every other offer is now judged against that initial figure. That's the anchor at work, quietly telling you what a good deal should feel like.
And you see this everywhere. That crazy high original price on a sweater makes the sale price look like a total steal. An initial salary offer, even a low one, sets the boundaries for the rest of the negotiation. And you know that one super expensive item on the menu? It's often just there to make everything else look way more reasonable by comparison. It's an anchor. All right, let's move on to our next one, and it is a biggie, confirmation bias. Here's the deal. We don't like to be wrong. It feels bad. So our brains have this clever little trick. They actively search for and pay way more attention to information that proves we were right all along.
I mean, this is so obvious in our digital age. Social media algorithms are literally designed to figure out what you already believe and then just feed you more and more of it. It creates this perfect echo chamber where your existing ideas are constantly reinforced and anything that might challenge you just gets filtered out.
Seriously, think about it. Do you ever intentionally seek out news from a source you know you'll disagree with? Or do you kind of, conveniently ignore the facts that don't fit with an opinion you already hold? It's just our brain's way of keeping our world feeling consistent and tidy.
And finally, let's talk about the availability heuristic. This is a mental shortcut that basically says if you can think of it easily, it must be really important or common. Our judgments get totally swayed by whatever is vivid, recent, or just plain memorable. This is the classic example. Statistically, you know that driving a car is way, way more dangerous than flying. But plane crashes are these huge, dramatic media events that get endless coverage and the images stick in our minds. So our brain flags flying as a bigger risk just because that memory is more available. This is also why you might buy a lottery ticket right after you hear about a big winner. Suddenly, winning feels more possible. It's why watching a shark movie can make you a little nervous about swimming in the ocean. The more dramatic and easy to recall the information is, the more weight our brain gives it, even if the real-world stats say something completely different. Okay, now, it is so easy to look at all these biases and think our brains are just, broken. But what if they're not bugs at all? What if they're actually features? Features of an ancient survival software that's still running on our modern brains. Let me walk you through this. For our ancient ancestors, hearing a rustle in the bushes might mean there's a predator. There was no time to sit and analyze the possibilities. The shortcut rustling equals danger, run, was a literal lifesaver. Now fast forward to today. You're trying to make a complex financial decision,
But that same ancient software is kicking in, screaming at you to make a quick gut decision. And that's where the misfire happens.
So what's the big takeaway here? We can't just delete this ancient software. That's not how it works. The goal isn't to become some perfectly rational robot. That's impossible. The goal is to become self-aware.
And this brings us to the most important point of all. Awareness is your new superpower. Just knowing that these biases exist, that these shortcuts are happening, that allows you to start spotting them in your own thinking. It gives you that one crucial second to pause before you act on that gut instinct.
And why is this awareness so unbelievably critical? Because get this, a staggering 95% of our brain's activity is unconscious. It's happening below the surface. Most of the time, these hidden shortcuts are completely running the show.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Knowing what you know now about the anchoring bias, confirmation bias, and the availability heuristic, what's one decision, maybe one you've made in the past, or one you're about to make, that you'll look at in a completely new light?